as us students in the Morgan County High School know you as the English teacher, literature, and the volleyball coach, what is your organizational challenges that you have to deal with?
Yes. Organizational challenges differ based on whether you're talking about my job as a teacher or my job as a volleyball coach. So I'm going to start with my primary job here, which is as a teacher. Anytime you work with people, not just students, people, you're always going to encounter certain areas of conflict. So I would say conflict management in the classroom, conflict management between teachers and students is one of the biggest challenges that you face. How do you, in a room of 25, 28 people, carry on with the greater needs of, let's say, 26 when there's one or two people having a really bad day? How do you make sure those kids don't get left behind? Or if they're acting up, how do you handle that behavior without creating a situation where it might largely impact their success or their grade moving forward? I think that as just it's called classroom management, is probably the thing that teachers would say is the hardest organizational challenge. Another organizational challenge that I would say I face as a teacher is sometimes you want to teach things or talk about things that don't like directly fall in line with what you're doing or what your standards may be. So you have to kind of like wiggle your way in. Or I've requested books to teach that, you know, we're not approved by the school board, and that's always like a bummer when that happens. But at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of flexibility in our individual classrooms, and you have to kind of work within the bounds that are set by the administration. So I'm very grateful the amount of freedom that we do have to teach the books we want to teach and have the conversations we want to have. But certainly there have been times where I've been really excited about an idea or a field trip or something, and it just like doesn't work out. So you're always, you know, managing what can happen versus what you in a perfect world would have happen in your classroom.
So can I ask you, like, what teachers help you throughout? Like, do you have any like other people out of school or in school that helps you get through?
Yes, I do have friends, actually. No, I've been really lucky that most of my classes are co-taught, so that means I have an additional teacher in the classroom with me at all times. This semester, less so than others. So in the past, I've gotten the opportunity to work with some phenomenal co-teachers. So Wendy Malcolm was my very first ever co-teacher. She really helped me get used to this place. Last semester, I got to work with Jenny Cofield, who's right across the hall now, so she's really great to have around. So the past couple years, and then second semester, I will be co-teaching with Kim Gray. And so she's one of the people that, you know, I can kind of turn to when I have questions or just having a bad day, just because we work together so much. I also love working with Shantae Harrell. She's down the hall now. We used to be right across. We have our little like teacher Instagram meme group that we send each other memes. And then of course, there's so many, but PT, who works with me as a volleyball coach, she's someone who I go to a good amount just to talk, talk about volleyball, talk about life. It's by nature of coaching, you have a lot of time. So definitely have a community within the school. I do have some teacher friends or friends who are teachers, but we don't really talk about work, you know, your friends outside. But definitely along the way, lots of my friends through the years at all the schools that I've worked at have been my coworkers. When I was in high school, I went to Oconee, so just right around the corner. I was musically inclined, so I played guitar and wrote songs, and I was like in my like little angsty singer-songwriter phase, and would like play at talent shows or at coffee shops around Oconee and kind of do this whole like music thing. And I think I was in some bands. I don't think they could really properly be called bands, but I somehow got voted most likely to be famous as my school senior superlative. And so there's like a picture of me in my yearbook, like with a guitar and like trying to look cool. Like I was not like a trying to be cool band t-shirt girl, but I wanted to look cool in this little picture. So there's a photo out there of me that says I'm going to be famous, and that clearly didn't happen. So this is kind of a fun and different year for me because I only have one co-taught class. So I normally have multiple, sometimes all of them. I just have one co-taught class. My students this year, I wouldn't necessarily say they're any different than students last year, but beginning of the semester students are always different than middle and end of the semester students. Y'all all change. You start off, you know, really really focused, really like going for A's. You know, the cell phones are going in the caddy, no questions asked, and then very, very slowly, about this time, kind of the behavior stuff starts to come out, or the people try to start like flirting with the rules a little bit, pushing the boundaries a little bit. So, you know, you see that every semester, but I don't think that's not unique to my students this particular year. And it's kind of fun to be in a classroom by myself. Even last year when I had one non-co-taught class, I had a student teacher, so I didn't have the opportunity to really be by myself from day one with a group of students. So it kind of changes the dynamics. So for that purpose, this semester is slightly different. But the students, y'all tend to, in a very endearing way, students are the same year after year. Faces might be different, but you know, the same problems, same kind of challenges. Kids tend to stay fairly consistent in that.